So, I welcome you all back to Food and Health Module 2. In the previous module, we talked about carbohydrate, whereas we have seen that carbohydrates are energy giving food. Okay? Now, today when we talk about fats, fats are also known as lipids. Moreover, fats provide us more energy than carbohydrate. Fats gives us energy. They keep our body warm. Extra fat is stored in our body for future use. It not only supply energy but also make it possible for other nutrients to do their jobs. Fat is a nutrient essential for normal function of the body, and the example is oil, butter, ghee, etc. Eating fat is good as it provides us energy, but when we eat too much fat, then it stores in our body, and at times it even blocks the pipes, it even blocks the arteries or veins which carry our blood, and then we might land into problem like blood pressure. So here I have ghee for you. I do have oil, and we'll be doing a very small experiment. I do have a beaker and a round bottom flask. Now what I'll be doing is, I'll take a beaker, I'll pour water into it. Now I'll take oil. Let's pour oil in water and see. I'll just vacuum it a bit. Yes. We'll pour oil and we'll see what happens here. Whether it floats or it sinks, we'll try to mix oil in water. Okay? Right now you could see as I'm pouring oil, it is just above water. Okay? Oil being lighter than water has formed a layer above water. Just look at it carefully. This oil has formed a layer above water. Okay, now we'll try to mix it. Let's see what happens. Now look at it. No matter how much hard you'll try to mix this oil into water, it will not mix at any cost. So much we have stirred, but again the entire oil has come up. Okay, the oil has formed a separate layer above water. We could say oil being lighter than water or is floating up, or water being heavier than oil is down. But oil and water are not good friends at all. We have seen that, right? Now they don't like each other. As you could see over here, see the way they are standing. They don't like at all each other. So oil and water are hydrophobic, we can say. They'll not mix. Okay. Now when we talk about protein are body building food. Protein are building blocks of life. They build and maintain tissues. When we talk about tissues, tissue means the way your room is made up of bricks. In the same way, our body is also made up of cells. So cells are the building blocks of life, and various cells join together and make tissue. The similar type of cells join and form tissue. Okay. Now they grow and repair our muscles of skin and hair. It accounts for 20% of total body weight. They make enzymes. They speed up the rate of reaction. Proteins are made up of amino acids. If you'll see proteins are made up of long, as if you have so many beads tied up in a chain, and these beads are amino acids. Okay, so proteins are made up of long chain of amino acids. Together we have nearly 20 different types of chains, but out of those 20, if we are able to consume 9 types of amino acids also, we have a diet rich in protein. Okay. Now when we look at our hair, when we look at our nails, when we look at our skin, everything has protein in it. Not only we human beings, the body of birds, the body of insects, the body of animals, they all have protein in it. So protein plays a very important role in our life. Fine? Now, if you look over here, for example, I have to have a duster which is stick to my board. Or you can say if you need to pull up a door even. I have to, as in case I want to pick up this duster, a message will be sent to my brain or my brain sends a message to my hand. Okay, and all this is done through proteins only. Okay, when we have sufficient amount of protein in our body, the message could be sent. Now, our brain sends a message to our hand and the muscles contract and relaxes, and then somehow I am able to pick up my duster. Now, think over it. If there's a very tight bond over here, if it is sticked very nicely with a great force, then what will happen? I need to put my leg back, I have to take a step back, and then I'll be stressing my belly, I'll be even stressing my shoulder even, I will tighten my belly in order to lift it up, and while doing all this, I might give some pressure to my muscles, right? So I might pick it up in that way. Now, what happens? My muscles, as I've stressed my muscles, there could be some injury in my muscle, right? So that injury need to be repaired. So continuously, if I keep on doing such work, if I keep on pressurizing my muscles, there will be an injury and it need to be repaired. The continuous injury and repair, continuously when it is done, that thing, strengthens the muscles. Okay, it makes your muscles strong. And that repair work is done usually when we sleep in the night. Okay, so it's always good. Little stress is always good. When you study for your exams, you are giving little pressure to yourself. You are little bit stressed that you have to prepare for your exams, and then ultimately you do well, right? So it's up to you how strong you want to make your muscles. Okay, the more if you'll utilize it, if you'll go for games every day, and if you'll play regularly, and if you're taking a proper intake of protein, if you're taking proper rest, if you're doing all these things repeatedly, regularly, you are going to make your muscles strong, your body strong, and moreover, you will even make your immune system strong. What is this immune system all about? Why do we need to make it strong? If our immune system is not strong, we may get the infection very fast. Think, you might be having cold and cough, you might be getting often, right? So why is it so? And how can we protect ourselves from all these things? So, when we talk about immune system, as I told you all, our skin is this is the small diagram of the skin, which is divided into 3 layers over here. Our skin is the largest organ of the body, okay? And the topmost, the upper layer, this is the upper layer of our skin, which is again made up of proteins, or you can say amino acids. You can see these beads, the dots tied in a chain, right? Now, any germ, any pathogen comes on your skin, the moment it tries to invade your skin, these protein molecules or these amino acids go and attack, and they finally kill the germ and does not allow it to enter to the second layer of your skin at all. Okay? Then too, somehow in case it enters the next layer, so in the next layer is known as innate layer. Here in means inside and nate means born. So this layer is in your body, in the skin at the time of the birth. Okay, since you are born, and it has some immune cells. These are the immune cells. So in case it gets somehow, if it enters, it is killed by these immune cells. Okay, and all these things are made up of protein. Okay, now then too, in case it enters, then what happens? And how do they engulf it? How do they eat it? How do they digest it? We have something in our blood known as WBC, or white blood cells. These white blood cells act like an army in our body. If any pathogen, if any microbe, any virus, any bacteria enters our body, they quickly identifies it. they can easily make out where is it, and then they send the signal to their other friends, to their these cells will send the signal to other immune cells, okay, and all these cells get activated and they quickly come to that area, and it's something like attack. All this army, the soldiers, they attack together on that particular germ or pathogen or microbe or whatever you could say, right? They attack on it and somehow they kill it, they digest it, so you are safe. Imagine, just assume a mosquito, it comes and it lands on your hand, okay? It starts sucking your blood. Now what happens, when it sucks your blood, that time you will find, maybe you might not realize, but later on you'll see a red patch on your hand, right? So this red patch, once it sucks your blood, some microbe enters your body in the blood, then what happens? Over here, again the army, the whole immune system is activated, and there could be a chance that you may develop fever as well. So once you get fever, once your body is hot, these microbes, they cannot sustain that. So they are killed, okay? And when we talk about the food that we should eat, the 9 amino acids what we should consume, we could probably talk about egg, chicken, milk, cheese, fish, okay? All these things are rich in protein, you could say. Now few people think that those who take non-veg, those who take egg, those who take fish or milk, they only can have a protein-rich diet, not the vegetarians. So it's not like that. When we talk about kidney beans, when we talk about pulses, when we eat all those things, we get quite a good amount of protein in our body. And when we club this with some other food items, okay, when we eat all these things in combination, we consume sufficient amount of protein in our body, okay. So this is all about, now when we talk about the immune system, we are talking about the antibodies created in our body, okay. So these antibodies are something like, they have the antigens or these antibodies. When we talk about our immune system is something like Y shape, as if the way each lock has a key. So each antigen has a specific antibody which only fits in this, like the particular key fits in the lock. In the same way, a specific antibody fits in the antigen, and then it is destroyed completely. So they first identify the threat, then they mount attack on it, and they eliminate the pathogen. So this is all about our immune system. It's very essential for us to develop a good immune system, and then we have to take a good intake of protein, okay, protein rich diet, I should say. Now how much protein we should consume? If you are 1 to 3 years old, you need 13 grams of protein, fine. If you are 4 to 8 years old, you need to consume 19 grams of protein. When you are 9 to 13 years old, you require 34 grams of protein. And if a girl is 14 plus, she needs 46 grams of protein. When it comes to boys, if they are at the age of between 14 to 18, they need 52 grams of protein. Moreover, boys need much more protein than girls. See,